guys, welcome to today's video. Subject line today is going to be basically my general impressions and my ownership experience since I got the car. I had a suggestion from somebody who watched one of my other videos who has a Boxster who's possibly interested in buying a 911, and they just said it would be cool if I could do kind of a ownership update. I thought that was a really great idea, so I'll just do a quick recap on that, and then future video I'm hoping to do just kind of go over the options of my car and what I think about each one. So look forward to that. Real quick, just a quick recap. This car is a 2002 911 C4 convertible 6-speed. It's lapis blue exterior. It did come with a hardtop, and it has a full leather and supple leather package, suede interior leather. The car was pretty well optioned, and the sticker was just under $98,000 new in 2002. I bought the car in January from California from the second owner. The original owner put all but about 500 miles on the car, and I've had the car for about 7 months, so this will be kind of a limited review, but I'll give you kind of a quick update as to what I think. So when I went and picked my car up in January, it was the first time I had ever even sat in a 911 before. As a kid, I just loved the cars, always kind of wanted one. It was a dream of mine, and was fortunate enough now that I'm in my late 40s to be able to afford it. And thanks to the 996's problems over the years, the prices are lower, and it allows me to own two vehicles. This is kind of a weekend car, and I have a little Subaru as my daily driver. So I'll start the review with that trip that I took home. So I picked the car up in Bakersfield, California, which was about, I don't know, probably 900 miles from here. My son and I went from there to Vegas and then home. So our total trip was about 1,000 miles. And I think the thing that struck me the most about the car was it's very comfortable. My back didn't hurt over the 1,000 miles. I never got uncomfortable. It's easy to find a good seating position. The pedal placement is perfect. The shifter placement is perfect. My son, who is 15, didn't have any issues getting comfortable either. He liked traveling in the car. I think the only real issue with it, which is pretty obvious, is space. You know, the trunk is really, really small, and our little carry-on suitcase basically took up the entire frunk. Being that it's a C4, it kind of takes away some of your front trunk space. But other than that, the car travels fantastically. It's, like I said, it's relatively quiet, very comfortable, and surprisingly, the gas mileage was pretty good. If I remember correctly, I think I was getting 25, maybe 26, and that's traveling 70 to 75 miles an hour, depending on which state I was in. Another thing that I kind of learned on that trip, and have learned over the 7 months of ownership, is that the car really is just a car. I mean, it's a sports car. Yeah, it was very expensive, and yeah, you know, Porsches are known to be great handling, fast vehicles, whatever. But it's just a great car, and it does normal car stuff well. Like I mentioned, the seating position is easy to get to. The controls are easy to reach. It's comfortable. The window wipers work well. The lights work well. The signals work well. There's just you know, no surprises as far as, oh, you have to own a 911, you have to put up with this kind of sucking, you know. I've owned Mustangs in the past, and I am still a big Mustang guy. I really like them, but there were compromises. The seating position was awkward, and they were loud and noisy, and this and that. But I was really blown away again by just the fact that this car is just a great car, and put that together with its beautiful looks, its handling, and its, you know, decent amount of power, just makes it awesome. So some of you may be wondering, could I use this as a daily driver? Is a 911, 996 a daily drivable car? And my first answer to that is yes, absolutely. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, it does all car things normally, and easily and well. And it's not so low in the front that you run into things or you have to worry about driving certain places. One of the issues would be space. And that's the reason why personally I don't use it as a daily driver. I'm an avid cyclist. I like to camp, I like to hike, I like to do all those kind of things, take my dog places, and that's not something I would do with the 911 or even could do in here. You know, I could put a hitch on the back and get a bike hitch, but that's just not something I want to do. But could you drive this every day? Could it be a great daily driver? Absolutely it could. So what about maintenance costs and you know, keeping the car in good condition? You know, it's only been 7 months for me, so I can't really answer that very honestly. An oil change, if you do it yourself, is anywhere like 60 to 70 bucks. If you use, depending on the oil you use, could be a little bit more. Tires are definitely expensive, and the rear tires wear out pretty quickly. I think you're looking at maybe 15,000 miles for a set of rear tires. One of the other thing that's been pretty interesting since owning this vehicle is these motors make a lot of really interesting noises, and it can kind of freak you out when you think of all the possible things that can go wrong with these motors, and that have kind of gone wrong with the 996, the IMS, and then the problems with the cylinder heads, and I don't know, there's a bunch of different things you can read about online. So that's been a little bit odd. They definitely sound a little bit different, so you know, that'll just take some time to getting used to. One thing that I think needs mentioning is, and it might sound kind of cheesy, but these cars feel really special to drive, and every time you get in it, you know, it makes me feel like I'm driving, you know, the most beautiful car in the world. And I know that's crazy, and I know it's silly, but it just really gives you a great feeling. It's fun to drive. If you like cars and you like to drive and you like to just cruise, it's a great car. I mean, it really, really is. You just feel good driving it, and it makes you feel like, you know, hey, this is really special. This is kind of a privilege to be able to drive such a beautiful car and to enjoy it. I really never thought when I was a kid that I'd be able to afford a 911, and being able to do so, even though it may not be the quote-unquote top of the line or everybody's favorite 911 or whatever, it's still a 911. And so what are my thoughts on the speed and power of the car, and does it feel quick, and how does it drive, and all those kind of things? I mean, honestly, that's really the important stuff, right? This is a 2002, so it has the 3.6, and it has 320 horsepower. And I would say that the handling is great. Even being a convertible, I'm amazingly impressed with it. It's stiff in the corners, it stays pretty flat. And again, this is just on the street. But the greatest thing about it is it doesn't beat you up. This car is very comfortable, and it doesn't do that. As far as the speed and power goes, in certain places, like in certain gears, first to second, it feels fast, above 3,500 RPMs. And in other places, like passing on the freeway, it's great. Is it the kind of car that's gonna blow you away and push you back in your seat and make you feel like you're, you know, faster than anything on the road? No, it's not gonna do that. But in some ways, I'd like to have more power, or a little more horsepower. In others, I almost think it would ruin the car. That sounds a little bit crazy, but I really think that's the truth. So overall, I am very, very happy with the comfort and the handling and the power that the car has. I mean, the last thing I'll cover is the fact that these 996s, you can actually work on them yourself. I am not a mechanic. I've done some work on my motorcycle, and I can fix things, I can read directions, I can watch videos and figure stuff out, but I'm not a mechanic. I mean, I can't disassemble an engine or a transmission, or never done anything like that. But these cars you can work on. You can work on these things, and if you have patience and you're willing to take some time and learn about them, it's something that can be done. And I think that's kind of not really can be said for the years after this. I've seen it mentioned on Rentless that the 997 guys really don't work on their own cars, but all the 996 guys do. So that's kind of another bonus, keeps repair costs down, and also keeps just basic maintenance costs down, which is nice. To kind of wrap things up, my general thoughts on this car is that I have no regrets purchasing it. You know, when you kind of want something when you're a kid, and then you have the ability to actually get it, and sometimes you end up being disappointed. And with this car, I certainly had expectations, and I was a little bit nervous since I'd never really driven one before I bought it. And I have no regrets. I am very pleased with the car. Is it a perfect vehicle? No, but it is everything I hoped it would be, and maybe even a little bit more in some respects. So if you're considering a 911 and you can afford a 996, I would say go for it. Just really take your time. Don't get swept away just by a low price. Be really careful with that kind of stuff. Do your research. Make sure that the car hasn't been abused. Do a pre-purchase inspection if you can. And try to buy a car that has a lot of maintenance records so you can kind of look over and make sure the car was well maintained. And I'm not an expert, but that's just kind of my thoughts. And I really appreciate you watching my videos. And if you like them, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think. And if you have any other questions about the ownership experience, please hit me up in the comments. I'm real good about responding, and I appreciate it. Thanks.